Good morning, everybody, and welcome. This is our May 1st regular meeting of the Mason County Commission. Let me see. Commissioner McDowell, would you please do us the honor of leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner, you remember the year I asked our German employee to do that and was caught off guard? I didn't think about it. I thought, well, oh my gosh, I didn't want her to swear to our country that way, but then she says, well, that's not the issue. She doesn't know it. Wow. You just automatically assume people know it. All right, next we'll go into roll call, please.
Commissioner District 1, Randy Netherland.
I'm here.
Commissioner District 2, Kevin Shooting.
Here.
Commissioner District 3, Terry Drexler.
Here.
Excellent. Item number 4, correspondence, organizational business. Item number 4.1, correspondence. Do we have correspondence to come before this body?
Yes, there's actually 10 items this morning. United States Department of the Interior of Bureau of Indian Affairs sent notices filed by the Skokomish Island Tribe to have real property accepted in trust for parcels 42235-32-00060, 42235-31-00090, and 42235-31-00091. Squaxin Island Tribe sent in a notice of property acquisition in collaboration with Capital Land Trust for 614 acres located in the Skookum Valley. A petition was turned in by concerned citizens from Lake Limerick regarding the proposed sewage lagoon on Webb Hill. Bill Allen brought in an application for the Mason County Planning Advisory Commission. Randall Lewis resubmitted his application for the Mason County Citizens Advisory Budget Committee. Madison Larson submitted an application for the Mason County Citizens Advisory Budget Committee. Washington State Liquor and Cannabis Board sent in a marijuana license for Batstone Bud Shop at 933 East John Prairie Road in Shelton. Gary Yando sent in an application for the Mason County Housing Authority Board. Phyllis Antonson sent in comments regarding the Webb Hill Biorecycling Project. And finally, Homes First sent in their 2017 annual report.
Thank you. Item number 4.2, news release, Mason County Solid Waste Advisory Committee vacancy. I do not see Bart here, so it must be you.
Must be.
Jerry House.
Good morning, board. Please bear with me while I read this. This kind of caught me unprepared. Mason County is advertising for citizens and volunteers to serve on the Mason County Solid Waste Advisory Committee, the SWAC. The Solid Waste Advisory Committee reviews and makes recommendations to the Commission regarding solid waste and special waste management in Mason County, including disposal rates, disposal options, waste reduction, recycling, household hazardous waste, and composting programs. Mason County invites all interested citizens who have an interest in solid waste to apply. There are openings for each commissioner district and solid waste business representatives as listed on the current resolution establishing the advisory panel, Resolution 08-05. Committee members are appointed for a 3-year term. Participation is voluntary and members meet once a month. Application forms may be obtained from the Mason County Commissioner's Office, 411 North 5th Street, Shelton, or by calling Shelton 360-427-9670, Belfair 360-275-4467, Elma 360-482-5269, extension 419, or visit our website at www.co.mason.wa.us.
Thank you. Next up is item number 4.3, which is a news release from Mason County Board of Equalization vacancy. It says staff Don Twitty. I do not see her, so Frank, that must be you.
Must be. Commissioners, this is a news release in regards to the Mason County Board of Equalization membership. The Board of Mason County Commissioners are seeking applications from community members who are interested in serving on the Mason County Board of Equalization as a member. The term of the position will end on May 31st, 2021. Applicants must reside in Mason County. The Board of Equalization is a three-member board appointed by the Mason County Commissioners. One alternate member may also be selected. The board's responsibility is to ensure that all property valuations are at 100% of market value so that equitable tax assessments can be established. Taxpayers may apply their assessments, including assessments of real and personal property, forest land, timber, and open space. The board also considers denial of senior citizen property tax exemptions. Taxpayers can file a petition with the Board of Equalization, and a hearing will be scheduled to present their appeal of their assessment. Depending on the number of appeals heard each year, the board may meet up to 3 days a week throughout the year. Board members are paid a per diem, currently $100 a day, when in session. As required by RCW 84.48.042, the successful applicant must attend training provided by the Washington State Department of Revenue within 1 year following appointment or reappointment. Interested citizens may obtain an application at the Mason County Commissioner's Office at 411 North 5th Street, Shelton, or by calling Shelton 360-427-9670 extension 380, or from Belfair 360-275-4467 extension 380, or from Elma 360-482-5269 extension 380, or visit the Mason County website at www.co.mason.wa.us. Applicants will be accepted until Friday, May 11th, 2018, or until filled. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there any other correspondence or organizational business to come before the body? Okay, then we will move on to item number 5, which is our open forum for citizens input, which is interesting. We have a hearing at the end of this, and we're needing to make up some time pretty badly, but I see very limited public that we have here today. But for the record, you are allowed up to 5 minutes per person, 15-minute time limit. This is your opportunity to speak on any issue that is not on the agenda. If it is on the agenda, we ask that you wait, and you'll be given an opportunity to have a discussion or pull it off the agenda for discussion and answer any questions that you may have. Now, knowing that, is there anybody in the audience who would like to speak on an issue that is not on the agenda? Please come forward, be recognized, and if you don't mind, add your name and where you're from.
Hello, Commissioners. My name is Cheryl Williams. I live at 309 West G Street in Shelton. And I've been busy, tax season, so now I have some time off. And I would like to announce that we're having a celebration again. It's next Friday, May 11th at 6 o'clock p.m. at the Civic Center downtown, and it's so much fun. I don't know if I've ever seen any of you there, but it is a great time. It's an adult spelling bee. We have 19 teams this year, and there's some from the college, there's some from the library, there's one from a police department in Olympia, and they come and we give them hard words from Merriam-Webster's. They come up with a spelling list, and we give them words, and we watch them spell, and we have auction and food, and it's a great time. It's our Sound Learning's, I'm vice president of the board this year. It's Sound Learning's big fundraiser, and it's a ton of fun.
And what time was it again?
It's at 6 o'clock on Friday, May 11th, so next Friday.
What you didn't share was you can bribe the judges.
You can, that's right, yeah, you can bribe the judges.
I have been to them.
You have, that's right, I just remember that, yeah, you can bribe the judges.
Explain that to me, please.
So if you get a hard word, if they say spell sesquicentennial, and they have no idea, they say, well, how would you like some delicious candy bars? And the judges will be like, oh, yeah, we'll take those. You can go through the next round. It's really fun. They dress up in costumes. People have themes, and it's very fun.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm going to try and see the fun. Is there anybody else who would like to speak on an issue that is not on the agenda? This is your opportunity. How about any of the staff that would like to speak about anything that's on the agenda? We're going to have some time to make up. All right, we will go ahead and move forward to item number 6, which is the adoption of the agenda.
Mr. Chair, I move approval of today's agenda as presented.
I'll second.
It has been moved and seconded for adoption of today's agenda as presented. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item number 7, approval of the minutes.
Chair, I move the approval of the April 16th briefing minutes and the April 24th, 2018 regular meeting minutes.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded for the approval of the April 16th, 2018 briefing minutes and the April 24th, 2018 regular meeting minutes. Are there any adjustments or hearing none? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. Item number 8, which is our approval of our action agenda. All items listed under the action agenda will be enacted by one motion unless a commissioner or a citizen requests the item be removed from the action agenda and considered as a separate item for a separate vote. With that being said, we will read them to the public. You will be given an opportunity to ask a question or to have it pulled off so you can have further discussion on the issue. With that being said, Commissioner Drexler, will you please read 8.1 and 8.2? Commissioner Schutte, would you please read 8.3 and 8.4? And I will read the remaining 3.
Mr. Chair, item 8.1, approval of the interlocal agreement with Fire District 3, authorizing services provided by the Public Works Department for vehicle maintenance, road or site maintenance, engineering, survey, GIS, emergency assistance, sign fabrication, fueling, and materials supply. 8.2, approval to appoint Kathy Geist to represent transit interests on the Transportation Improvement Program Citizen Advisory Panel, TIPCAP.
Mr. Chair, item 8.3, approval of warrants and treasurer electronic remittances. Claims Clearing Fund warrant numbers 8055572 through 8056144 in the amount of $777,823.92. Direct Deposit Fund warrant numbers 49369 through 49737 in the amount of $742,117.54. Salary Clearing Fund warrant numbers 7003577 through 7003605 in the amount of $563,901.38 for a total of $2,083,842.84. Item 8.4, approval to set a public hearing for Tuesday, June 5th, 2018 at 9:30 a.m. to approve the amendments to Title 17.34 Signs in the Belfair Urban Growth Area.
Item number 8.5, approval of the Law Library Access Contract and the Correctional Access Contract between Mason County Law Library and Westlaw for continued service. Item number 8.6, approval to amend the contract between Mason County and the Community Action Council in the amount of $53,285 with additional funding from the Department of Commerce and pass on performance measures from Commerce. Item number 8.7, approval for the chair to sign the Electronic Home Monitoring EHM contract with Satellite Tracking of People, STOP, for the Mason County Jail. The expense of the leased equipment is reimbursed by the alternative sentencing user fees. Now that these have been read to you in the public, is there anybody out there who has any questions on any of the items that was read? Is there any item that anybody in the public would like taken off for a separate vote? Commissioners, anything?
Mr. Chair, just for edification of the people watching as well as the audience, I would like to at least ask a question to have 8.4, have Dave Wyndham, our Community Services Director, speak to the very interesting topic of why we're having to, one of the main reasons we're having to change our sign code. I think it's intriguing, and I think it's worth the public knowing.
Right. Morning, Commissioners. Dave Wyndham, Mason County Community Services. So a year ago, we started looking at some of our code, and when we looked at the Belfair sign code, one thing that leapt out to us was that it was in violation of the Reed.
Town of Gilbert.
Oh, Town of Gilbert, that's right, Town of Gilbert. Supreme Court decision, which says that you can regulate signs, but you can't regulate what is on the sign. So, and our Belfair code had a lot in there that it violated the First Amendment. So there's some constitutional issues with what our sign code had to say. And we've talked with the folks in Belfair, and they have some concerns about other signage, but what we want to do is, first of all, get the sign code constitutionally correct, get the legal pieces out of the way, and then this summer we'll do an engagement with the people in Belfair to look at the other parts of the sign code. So feather signs, for example, does Belfair want to have feather signs or no? There are people who have opinions either way. And just look at all the details of the sign code. This is just the first piece. Just make sure that our sign code is legal, and then we'll start working with the piece.
Thank you.
Any questions? Yes.
Oh, go ahead.
What is a buffer sign?
Okay, you see these poles that have, they're like a PVC pipe with a cloth that comes out kind of like feather shaped, says like burritos or something like that on it. So some people really like them, some people say it makes the town look like a used car lot, so. They're inexpensive, they're easy to put up, so there's things on both sides.
Thank you.
Hmm?
All right, so I will entertain a
Mr. Chair, I move approval of items 8.1 through 8.7 on today's action agenda.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded for the approval of the action agenda, items 8.1 through 8.7. Any further discussion or questions?
I would just like to encourage the public to be very aware of the sign code changes that we're contemplating for the June 5th hearing. Take a look at them. I suspect they're online in at least today's meeting packet. So if they could look on there and see how things will change up there. Signs have been a very intense issue up in the Belfair area, and I think it's really important that we have public input on that. I look forward to public coming on June 5th for that hearing.
Dave kind of buried the lead on that, in that the policy that we had in place was borrowed from China. Taipei?
Saipan.
Saipan. So,
That's been a great.
not,
great code back then.
yeah. So.
All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Action agenda is approved. Next up is item number 9, other business, department heads and elected officials. Are there any department heads or elected officials who would like to speak at this time? Hearing none, we are early for our hearing, so if you don't mind, if there's no objection, commissioners, we'll move on to item number 11 and come back to item number 12, or number 10, and do board reports or calendars. Commissioner Drexler, would you lead us off with Commissioner Schutte coming in behind on that?
Okay, I'm going to have to, well, I won't. So last week I was not here. I was at a 3-day conference in Washington, D.C. on the National Behavioral Health Conference, and then spent a couple days sightseeing out in Washington, D.C. and visiting family. So I was out of town all last week. This week, following today's meeting, I'll be meeting with Chief Bo Bakken of the North Mason Fire Authority, and then I will be meeting with Bob Miller from the Skookum Rotary Foundation, and then we have quite an open week, and then I'll be doing some important medical work on Friday the 4th, and then coming back here for briefings on Monday the 7th.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, a couple items from last week. I think we had a great meeting out at the Port of Hoodsport, or with the Port of Hoodsport last week, that John Hustis, our county engineer, helped arrange. Included not only the Port Commission, but also folks from Washington State Patrol and DOT to talk about pedestrian safety in sort of the downtown business core of Hoodsport. And the takeaway from that meeting is DOT is going to do a speed study through there this year. Take a look if there's any adjustments that need to be made on that end, as well as there might be some funding available to assist the Port of Hoodsport in planning for transportation improvements through there that would benefit pedestrian and driver safety through there. So I was really appreciative of Public Works' and John in particular helping put that together. So it was, I think, a very informative meeting, and I think there will be some very positive things that come out of that. It was kind of a double header in Hoodsport for us on Wednesday last week. We had our TIPCAP meeting there as well in the evening. Very well attended, heard a lot of great feedback. One of the things that came from that, and might be a little bit different than what came out of the Belfair TIPCAP meeting, and might be different than what we'll see here in Shelton at the next TIPCAP meeting, but is upgrading gravel roads and moving away from the primitive roads and that are under the county jurisdiction there, and improving those. And so I think that might be an issue that TIPCAP might look at a little bit more as they go forward. So. But it was well attended for a beautiful evening, so it was great to hear that feedback. Also had a chance to go out and meet with Carl and Bev Black out at Olympic Mountain Ice Cream. They have, not only do they make tremendous ice cream out there, but they have some serious concerns about how their employees get in and out of the valley during flood events. And so again, like John Hustis week last week, but tip of the hat to John for him coming out there with me and talking to them about the work that he's been doing with Green Diamond in order to sort of clarify our use of the 800 road during storm events and flood events, as well as talk to them about some of the plans that the Conservation District has been making in terms of not just habitat improvement in the valley, but also transportation improvements that would improve safety. So appreciated that. Also had a chance to sit down with Dallas Roberts from Congressman Heck's office. Congressman Heck is working on the very real and challenging issue of affordable housing, and so I think Congressman Heck will be coming forward with some plans at the federal level that we'll want to keep an eye on to see how they work with us here at the local level. After this today, I'll be meeting with Debbie Riley to talk about some water quality issues. Also have the opioid stakeholders meeting in Belfair this week. Have a sit down with Arla Shepard of the Kitsap Sun. She's interested in the opportunity zones. And then I have a constituent meeting on Thursday and back here for briefings on Monday.
Excellent. Now, was that Hood Canal Recording Council retreat canceled?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought it was. All right. Let's see, North Mason Chamber of Commerce Luncheon, the Belfair Mobility Plan. After our last meeting here, I ended up running down to Belfair, and I got most of the people that were angry that were out in the parking lot. So, but it actually ended up going really well. It's always amazing, no matter how things are. Well, actually, that wasn't the Belfair Mobility. That was for the roundabout. It's always amazing how much misinformation gets out there, and then people feed on it between themselves, and they just keep going and going and going in a cycle. Sitting out there in the front and explaining the things that are really happening, what we're looking at. Most all of them, when they left, were in a different mindset than when we got there. Just trying to get the chance to explain it to them. Also had a cemetery board meeting. Of that, I'm going to need to bring something forward for us all to look at and talk about. The commission is not doing anything kicking into it at all, but apparently we were responsible for a whole section of that cemetery for years before they created that board, and they always assumed there would be some type of financial support that had come from that, just like the other entities. So I'll be bringing that forward at a briefing for everybody to look at, and we're going to have to find out what the history is and what we really have to do or what we're supposed to be doing on that. I always thought it was odd that the county commission would have a seat on it. Now I understand why, now that they brought forward the old documents. Gold Coast Oysters, met with them for different reasons when it comes to everything from the septic lagoon to land use to the planning commission. Fast Pitch had a big fundraiser up in North Mason. Many different political things going on with political people all wanting to talk and get together. Food and Fellowship, our briefing of the Mason County Commission and the Left Board meeting this morning. After this meeting, I was supposed to be meeting with Mr. Lewis and a few others later this week. Law Library meeting, Chamber Management Roundtable event in the morning. The opioid stakeholders, we will both be attending that one. A canvassing board meeting, and then the Allen Community Association is also having a meeting. The women are having a meeting, another canvassing board, because then they finalize everything. Lynchco asked me if I would attend their HOA, their homeowner association. Every year, the Chamber of Commerce and McClendon's Hardware get together and have an incredible event. I absolutely love it. At first I was really reluctant because I don't like all the people stuff, believe it or not. But for this one, you end up serving pancakes and sausages and eggs. But you end up seeing people from Belfair that you haven't seen in 30 and 40 years. It's one of the most incredible events, and it's free. So if you get a chance, come on out and have some free breakfast out there. There's a carnival happening in Belfair, and that brings back for briefing, and then a Port of Allen meeting. With that, we still have to kill a few more minutes. Let's see, who do we want to put on the hot seat here? Have you ever had an opportunity to come and explain to us who you are, where you come from, and what you do? Would you mind?
Should have said yes.
You see, sitting in the back row makes it even more dangerous. That's the first place we look.
My name is Marissa Watson. I actually grew up in Belfair. My parents still live there. Today is my first day as a planner with Community Services. So, starting out on that adventure here with Dave and everybody else. So, I went to Washington State University, WSU, for architecture degree, so kind of related, but I've always wanted to work with the county. I've always looked at the community and wanted to help with ways to make it better, and now hopefully I can.
Go ahead.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
And prior to coming over to the planning side, you staffed the planning commission.
Yes.
You were clerk for that.
Yep.
Mhm.
Still
You know
find
what
out
you're up
about
for.
that.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Well, thank you. Welcome.
Congratulations.
Commissioner McDowell, would you like to come up and and tell us some of the exciting things that are happening in Shelton?
Well, I'll try to be quick here.
No, don't be quick. We need at least 3 more minutes.
Oh, let's see. Well, let's see, we have one more commission meeting tonight before we change over to council. We had a great election, so we have 4 new people coming on, and we will all be council members on the 15th of May. We'll all get sworn in. We're gonna have a party, so everyone come and have cake and cookies or whatever we're gonna have, and then we will have our first little bit of business that night. So anyway, that's exciting. It's coming down the road. Our Alder Street connector program, what's the word I want to use? Well, anyway, the Alder Street connector design is out, and we will be taking that on after we get the Basin 3 project. And good news, it was all paid for. And the citizens aren't even having to have a rate increase, so that's a great thing. So those 2 projects, it'll be quite the turmoil for a while, I'm sure. We're gonna have a roundabout, so we'll see how that goes. And Turner Street's gonna be repaved, so Turner Avenue, and that's coming, and that's a project that's paid for. Anyway, so those are the exciting things coming to Shelton, and just be patient, please, on everything that's going on.
Well, thank you. You know, it's amazing now. Didn't ever think much about a roundabout up until a year ago. Now you hear about it all the time. Many different things we're dealing with.
We often wondered who was going to be the first roundabout.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be. I'll stand back and watch.
I did want to make an announcement. I guess I cannot attend, but this Friday at 2 p.m. will be an open house for the Behavioral Health Organization, and now the / Olympic Health and Recovery Services, which is the title of the behavioral health provider that has come out of the Behavioral Health Organization. It's in their offices in Lacey. For all those folks out there thinking about running for my seat, I really encourage you to get to know this behavioral health organization, and this is a really good opportunity to do that. So it's Friday, 2 o'clock in their offices in Lacey. I'm sorry I don't have the address, but they can be looked up online.
And again, you've done a lot of work in that area. There's going to be a large learning curve, so please take that as good advice. If you are running for that position, it would be wise to bone up on that stuff. All right, with that being said, I think we have made it to the 9:30 mark, and we're going to go ahead and open a hearing. This is our public hearing. Item number 10.1, a public hearing to consider approval of the following supplemental appropriations and budget transfer requests to the 2018 budget. Supplemental requests, $80,000 to current expense, Mason County Sheriff's Office revenue from North Mesa School District for school resource officers. $40,000 to current expense, Mason County Sheriff's Office for salaries and benefits to patrol. $101,000 to current expense, Mason County Sheriff's Office revenue from BHO for training. $101,000 to current expense, Mason County Sheriff's Office for professional services and supplies, CJTC. $40,000 total to current expense, ending fund balance. Budget transfers, $150,000 transfer out from treatment sales tax to Mason County Sheriff's Office revenue. $150,000 transfer in from treatment sales tax fund to Mason County Sheriff's Office revenue, replacing the $150,000 from BHO. $14,500 revenue to CE, ending fund balance from Public Works ER&R for DEM vehicle, number 00158 being returned to ER&R. $14,075 payment to Public Works from Mason County Sheriff's Office Professional Services via the CE ending fund balance for labor and equipment for special investigation work completed in 2017. The total is $178,575. The budget impact, $14,500 increase to current expense ending fund balance, $14,075 decrease in current expense ending fund balance. Net impact, $425 increase, current expense ending fund balance. Frank. It's sad that I have to read all that, and then
And
we
then I
have
gotta
you-
read it too.
But that's the way that it works. So my apologies, folks, for doing it to you over and over again.
So we have a public hearing in regards to the following supplemental appropriations and budget transfer requests for 2018. And there's a supplemental request for revenue of $80,000 to the Mason County Sheriff's Office from the North Mason School District for a school resource officer, and then $40,000 of county current expense to the Mason County Sheriff's Office and salaries and benefits for patrol. $101,000 to current expense Mason County Sheriff's Office revenue for from the BHO for CJTC training, and then an expenditure of $101,000 to current expense for professional services and supplies for CJTC training. So net of $40,000 to current expense ending fund balance increase. Budget transfers $150,000 from treatment sales tax fund to the Mason County Sheriff's Office jail revenue, $150,000 transfer in from treatment sales tax fund to the Mason County Sheriff's revenue, replacing the $150,000 from the BHO. $14,500 revenue to current expense ending fund balance from Public Works ER&R for DEM vehicle number 00158. That's being returned to ER&R. And then a payment of $14,075,000 to Public Works from the Sheriff's Office Professional Services via current expense ending fund balance for labor and equipment for special investigation work completed in 2017 for a total of $178,575. The budget impact of those are $14,500 increase to current expense ending fund balance and a $14,075 decrease in current expense ending fund balance for a net increase of $425 in current expense ending fund balance. Any questions?
You have any questions, Commissioner? before
I don't have any questions, but there's probably a lot that could be explained there.
Okay. Does anybody in the public have questions? Yes.
Well,
Well, do you want to testify, or do you have a question?
I have a question. I actually just wanted to clarify a couple of things, whenever it's appropriate.
Okay, we'll give you an opportunity afterwards to. But any questions right now for Frank? Thank you, Frank.
Thank you.
Okay, so we will open it up now to testimony. So if you'd like to testify, please raise your hand and we'll have you come up and.
Yeah, I will start off real quick and I'll let Tracy cover that. I know that in these things, and I'm not the mathematician here, that's why I'm not the finance director, but when you read through these things, I just want to make it real clear to the public.
Sheriff, please.
Oh, I'm sorry, that this is not just an increase to the sheriff's budget. Many of these are different transfers that had to take place through internet crimes against children, those things that were covering costs. So it's just not money being given to the sheriff's office. A lot of that was income back in on that mental health fund and things. Those are things that have gone to training, and I've got those to cover in a few minutes. Teresa might want to say a few words on that. I just, sometimes, like the explanation on here, it looks like it's just money being thrown into the sheriff's office, but the transfers back to Public Works and those things were for major case investigations, and we were able to do some movement with the vehicle and some other things to cover costs in collaboration with Public Works, and we thank you for that as well. Do you want to comment on that?
I'd like to remind everybody, please address the commission, not the public, though, please.
Good morning.
Yes.
Just Tracy Ark, Chief Deputy, Administrative Deputy for the Sheriff's Office. I wanted to let the commission know that in the Embry case that the sheriff was referring to last year, we did get ICAC to reimburse us $24,000 into the general fund before the end of the year. And the dirt work bill that we got from Public Works, which we're really grateful for their help, was received before the end of the year, but that's the $14,000 that we're taking care of at this time. So I also wanted to address the North Mason school contract, because we are actually increasing its salaries and benefits, but it's actually a new position for the, for patrol. It's a deputy position. So the 80,000 is to help pay for. It's almost 150,000 with their equipment and training and that they have to continue to do every year, and uniform and those things. But I just wanted to clarify to make sure.
Can I ask you a question on that?
Uh-huh.
'Cause I thought the contract was 80,000 overtime. For overtime, because that's what it specified.
Covering the position.
When Chief Sperling first did this, Commissioner, he didn't know if we were going to get 40 or 80 a year. And we did put our budget order to the, to Frank and to the, as a position. And that's how it's listed on your order. It's listed as a actual deputy position.
Okay.
So I just wanted to make sure that we're,
Yeah.
okay. And the last item is for our transfer of mental health dollars. The mental health fund collects different types of income and also the mental health tax. And the transfer of 150,000 was something we asked for last August and the August before to help pay for our nursing contract, which increased from an 8-hour to a 16-hour day to 500,000 a year. 200,000 of that is mental health nursing alone, and then we also have other costs in the jail regarding mental health pharmaceuticals, which have appreciably increased, and other things. So we asked for 150,000 the last 2 years from mental health tax dollars to help pay for this contract or other mental health services in the jail. And I apologize that Chief Hansen, he had an appointment, so he would be here. But we have, right now, the way this is being done, we have the money being transferred into the general fund. We have that part of it, the transfer out, and the mental health tax fund is transferring 150,000 to the general fund. But the other part that has not been addressed or done is the increase in our expenditure authority to help pay for the contract. Because we have several $100,000 less overall in the sheriff's budget from last year operationally, and even more than the year before. But it's hard to compare years because we had 1 year that we had vehicles in 16, and outsourcing that we spent some money in 15, and some money in 16 and 17. But we have overall in our operation for the sheriff's office several $100,000 less, which includes the nursing contract and pharmaceuticals and all the other things that we have to operate with. So I just wanted to make sure there wasn't a misunderstanding, because this gets confusing when we transfer out money. We have to transfer out of another fund, so we do have the transfer out and the revenue being receipted into the general fund, but we didn't do the other side as far as expenditure authority increase for Chief Hansen in the Corrections Division.
A question on that. You made a comment that there was, that it's a couple of thousand shy. Everything we have here is money in, money out. What am I missing? Where are we?
We have the money going from the from the mental health tax fund that we received almost 800,000 in 1/10 of 1%, and we're transferring 150,000 from that fund into the general fund, and saying it's going to be transferred to the sheriff's office revenue, which is fine, but the revenue hasn't been offset with the expenditure. The expenditure is already going to happen with the contract that was signed by the commission every year, but the amount of money that he has overall in his budget has not been increased to 150,000. He's actually got less operating money than he did the year before.
In the approved budget, in the budget request from the sheriff's office, was an extra $150,000 in that line item. Are you saying that the budget was passed without that? Did you folks change that once the budget was passed?
No, we didn't change it. Commissioner, we actually requested it last August along with the other items in our budget for a transfer in. And the budget that was passed on the 19th of December, we just got a 12.3 amount, 10 million for salary and benefits, 2 million for operating. We didn't get an increase to pay for the increase. And we sent over a supplemental form with 150,000 transfer in and 150,000 for the nursing or for the other healthcare lines in his budget. There's almost $1 million in inmate costs and we asked for that to be approved. There was never,
And we approved an extra $150,000 that was supposed to have come from the Behavioral Health Organization. Then there was the assumption from your office that, no, that money would be used for the CJTC training. There was a huge amount of confusion. My intention when I approved that budget was that $150,000 from BHO would go to increase the mental health services in the jail with the health services, your nursing contract. And that's what I had done. When that money was put out there as an approved bottom line budget, the $150,000 was in that approved as a revenue source. However that got put, parsed out among the different lines for the jail, I think was in your purview. But the $150,000 was approved as an income coming in.
okay, and that's the other item I wanted to clarify, I'm sorry. The BHO money is a separate, is a grant from BHO. Totally separate aside from our mental health tax fund and the mental health 0.1%. If you look at the adopted budget online, that's been published by Frank, by the county, there is no BHO funding or no transfer out from the mental health tax fund to the sheriff's office or to the general fund.
There wouldn't have been a mental health tax fund because we did not approve that. That
Okay.
would not have been, and that's what we're doing right now.
Well, in the contract with
But we did have $150,000 revenue coming in from the Behavioral Health Organization. Did we not?
That's correct.
We did. We did not have $150,000 coming from the mental health tax fund to the sheriff's office.
No, it's in Ms.
All right, hey, guys, please, we're having a conversation up here, please. If we don't mind. Chief, the thing I was more concerned was, there sounded like the assumption that we were off on a few $1,000s, but what I'm hearing is you guys wanted that, you would like to have, but the budget is still the budget. What the budget was approved, the budget's never wrong. The budget is whatever it is. We went through that a couple of years ago. So that several thousand, you were given a budget, it's up to you on how you allocate it. The 150 aspect though, this is how I view the 150. We told you that in your budget, you can have $150,000 for a specific thing. Turned out that money could not be used for that. So we are finding other money to supplement that, to supplant that in exchange for it. And that's what this is from the mental health tax, to be able to do that. So you can still keep your budget 100% whole. It's not an increase, it's not a decrease. It is removing one that we couldn't use money from and bringing money in so that you can make sure that you have that training and stuff that you needed.
What you're speaking to, Commissioner, is the revenue. The revenue was increased last year in 2017, there was several $100,000 in commissioner or prisoner reimbursements and swift and certain that we knew we wouldn't realize. But I'm talking about as expenditure authority. We were just given allocations at the 19th of December to pay the 96 people at $10 million and the $2 million for operating. $1 million of it almost is inmate costs and $1 million for our ER&R and our MACECOM fees. So what I'm talking about is that whether we replace the 150 miscellaneous with a different, the expenditure authority that Chief Hansen has to operate his jail and our sheriff to operate the sheriff's office does not have the capacity at this time to fully fund and fully, if you look at our budget status report right now, even with the unfilled jail positions we have like 4 or 5 corrections deputies positions to still fill, we're still over benchmark on salary and benefits. And we're still...
I think we're getting off track here. Salaries and benefits not what we're
Okay,
talking
well,
about. We're talking about $150,000 for increased nursing services.
Okay, I just want to get back on point then. The $150,000 that we are talking about, whether it's BHO for the CIT training, which is a grant from BHO that we haven't even signed a contract with yet, or the $150,000 transfer in from the mental health fund is revenue. And I'm talking about the expenditure authority. The expenditure authority has never been addressed in the contract. And in 17, the day we adopted the budget in 16 for the 17 year, Sheriff and Chief Hansen and I were here when we had asked for the $150,000 to pay for the for the nursing contract of $500 a year, and we were denied that transfer. But we still we do not have the expenditure authority. I'm talking about the expenditure authority in which to pay the correction division's costs for nursing and all the other things that they have to pay for inmate costs.
Then I think
We can brief on
we're in
that.
disagreement.
Yeah, because,
I just wanted to just be
And we're
honest
just-
and clear about this,
No.
because I understand it's confusing.
No,
But when we
but-
talk about changing the revenue source around from BHO to, that's in a different place than I'm talking about. And I know that when we went in nursing from 8 to 10-hour days, and it was 120,000 more a year that year in 16, that we were given that rate, the commissioners signed the contract, we were given the rate after we adopted the budget on the 5th of December 16. And so we never got that, and we've been behind on that whole nursing issue and contract and inmate expenses for some time.
okay, but Chief,
Brief on that.
we can't,
Yep.
yeah, let's brief on it, because we can't renegotiate the budget
Oh, I
at this
understand,
point.
sir, I
And-
just,
and
I did bring this up at your
and-
hearing, you had to set
No.
this budget hearing.
And I want to make clear that as far as we're concerned, though, the 150 is a direct supplant. So whatever you have in your budget, that's not going to change. We're just trying to find a way to make sure that you got what you were promised, which is that 150 that can't come from this other pocket. Because we had training, we had nursing. We found out that one of the funds could not be used for the other. So we found a way to make the money whole, but it's still in the same pocket.
So you're saying we have
That never
the
changed.
CIT training, which is an additional training that we have to do,
Yeah.
is being funded, but the nursing has to just, the nursing, we have to just figure out a way to pay for it.
No, the nursing was already funded in that also, just with different, where it
Okay.
came from differently, but we'll brief on it further.
Well, we can brief on it, sir, but this, I just wanted to make sure to go, I talked about this a couple weeks ago when we set this hearing, that there was some confusion about this issue, and even Commissioner Schutte addressed that, he would like clarification to make sure that when we're passing this, I just wanted to be honest and clear about what it is we're trying to do, and that's why I brought up these points. So
Thank
thank you
you.
for the time.
Commissioner Schutte, did you have any questions on that, or?
I'll hold my comments.
Okay. I only asked that because the chief alluded that there was questions. All right, with that, is there anybody else who has any other testimony at this time? Hearing none, we will close the testimony and enter into commissioner deliberations. Or motions.
Oh, I guess I'll just say this is truly the gift that keeps on giving. I mean, we, you know what I mean. Again, I mean, I made reference to this when we set the hearing for today. Is that these dollars have been among the most complex that I think we've had to work with in terms of figuring out what can be used for what and how, and you know, and it speaks, I think, to the complexity of how mental health is funded, and you know, we probably still have a lot to learn and work through in regards to BHO funding, and I think we've made some progress on the treatment sales tax front with our resolution that we passed last week that clarifies a little bit more as to, you know, what that fund can be used for. You know, and I do want to caution the commission and everybody that may be listening and watching this that there's good stuff here. This seems adversarial, but we're funding good things here, and I think I don't want that to get lost, because we've had a number of conversations with the sheriff's office on these numbers and the training and how critical that is to your operations and really the overall safety of the county and its residents. So, you know, I'm going to be supportive of these supplemental and transfer requests today, because I think we achieve a lot of good things in here that I wanted to see accomplished in the budget that was adopted in December. And I'm happy to see that we're making progress on that, and still more to do for sure. You know, as mental health continues to be front and center and continues to evolve as an issue, we're going to have to do more work on it. And you know, but this is, and it also, and I'll just one last point. This also points out the collaboration between county departments in order to accomplish shared goals. You know, and the sheriff alluded to it in his comments, but the support of Public Works to help with a pretty critical investigation last year. I just don't want those positive things to be lost in the fact that we need to continue to do more work on the mental health funding front.
I agree. These are all good programs. It's good expenditures. I'm very thankful that there was monies available to do these things. I think that the confusion that we've just witnessed is unnecessary. And I think that if we would all just kind of try to get to where we need to get, we wouldn't need to have this kind of confusion. I'm very much in favor. I just want to say, I asked for the $150,000 from the BHO. And we got it, and how it was going to be used, there was a lot of discussion and a lot of confusion around how it would be used. But we got it, and we've been trying to work together to make it work. And I think that we did that here. And so I'm in favor of it. I am hoping in going into the future it's a little bit more clear, but we do need to have good, clear conversations about that so that this doesn't happen again. I am voting in favor.
I also will be supportive of it. You know, this is all good stuff, folks. We're getting a deputy to help guard our schools. That's a great thing. There's no way that that's bad or should be considered bad. The rest of it is actually just a movement of money from one to the other, but it's the same money. So it shouldn't be adversarial. There's, you know, to simplify it, it says right in the motion, or right in the supplemental, we're transferring in from treatment and sales tax revenue the $150,000 to replace the $150,000 from BHO. That's the only thing we're doing on that. We're making it whole to make sure that it's there for the things you guys had asked for, because we told you it would be there in the budget, and somehow during the process, because we thought certain monies could be used that way, it turned out they couldn't. So we just, as a commission, we're making it whole. That's what we're doing. So it's a positive thing all the way around. There shouldn't be any animosity there at all. And again, the other stuff is things that you guys had found a way to offset costs when it came to the services with our public works for the work that you had done, and you're bringing in a vehicle. Everything here is basically a wash. It's a good thing. Nobody's demanding more or demanding less. It's just moving one pocket to the other to make sure that you can work within your budgets to make it whole. So with that, I'll be definitely speaking in favor of it. I don't see anything reason why I wouldn't. But I still need somebody to make a motion.
Mr. Chair, I would like to move that we make a supplemental request to the 2018 budget of $80,000 to the current expense Mason County Sheriff's Office revenue from North Mason School District for a school resource office, an expenditure of $40,000 to current expense Mason County Sheriff's Office for salaries and benefits patrol, $101,000 increase to current expense Mason County Sheriff's Office revenue from the Behavioral Health Organization for training, an expenditure of $100,000 to current expense Mason County Sheriff's Office for professional services and supplies for CJTC training, for a total impact of a $40,000 increase to current expense ending fund balance. Transfer $150,000 out from treatment sales tax fund to the Mason County Sheriff's Office revenue, and $150,000 transfer in from the treatment sales tax fund to the Mason County Sheriff's Office revenue, replacing the $150,000 from the Behavioral Health Organization. A $14,500 revenue to the current expense ending fund balance from Public Works equipment revolving and replacement revolving fund for the Department of Emergency and Management vehicle number 00158 being returned to the ER&R, and a $14,075 payment to Public Works from the Mason County Sheriff's Office professional services via the current expense funding ending fund balance for labor and equipment for special investigation work completed in 2017 for a total expenditure of $178,575. The total budget impact being $14,500 increase in current expense ending fund balance, and a $14,075 decrease in current expense ending fund balance, for a net impact of $425 increase in the current expense ending fund balance.
Second.
Well done. That was impressive. Okay. All right, here we go, guys. All right, it's been moved and seconded for the approval. To approve the supplemental appropriations and budget transfer request for the 2018 budget. The supplemental requests of $80,000 to current expense Mason County Sheriff's Office revenue from the North Mason School District for school resource officer. $40,000 to current expense Mason County Sheriff's Office for salaries and benefits on patrol. $101,000 to current expense Mason County Sheriff's Office revenue from BHO to training. Negative $101,000 to current expense Mason County Sheriff's Office for professional services supplies CJTC training. That's a grand total of $40,000 to current expense ending fund balance. Budget transfers. $150,000 budget transfer out from treatment sales tax fund to the Mason County Sheriff's Office revenue. $150,000 transfer in from treatment sales tax fund to Mason County Sheriff's Office revenue, replacing the $150,000 from BHO. $14,500 revenue to CE ending fund balance from Public Works ER&R for DEM vehicle number 00158 being returned to ER&R. $14,075 payment to Public Works from Mason County Sheriff's Office professional services via the CE ending fund balance for labor and equipment for special investigation work completed in 2017. The total is $178,575. The budget impact, $14,500 increase in current expense ending fund balance, $14,075 decrease in current ending fund balance. Net impact, $425 increase to current ending fund balance. So with all that, the actual difference is a net impact of $425 increase to current ending fund balance, but that's how we have to do business. That's how it works. So with that being said, is there any other comments?
I'll just say thanks for the Sheriff's Office and North Mason School District for working on that partnership. Also thanks to Community Development, Public Health for their work on the treatment sales tax side of this. Appreciate all of that. It's a good thing. Look forward to voting yes.
Yeah. We found a way to make it all happen, guys. It's wonderful. Anything? Hearing no more, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The motion carries. All right, that brings us to the end of our, we are closed on the hearing. That brings us to the end of our agenda. If I hear no objections, excuse me?
I just want to say thank you.
Oh, okay.
Thank you very much. The training was vital. Thank you, Mr. Wyndham, and thank you for the school resource officer. And I just wanted to make sure you knew that we had brought in enough money for reimbursements last year to take care of it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, hearing no objections, we are adjourned. None?